Have you ever heard the phrase, the planets are aligned? Who am I kidding? Of course you have. But have you ever asked yourself, will the planets ever truly align? If you're like me, then you probably have, otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. Unless of course my thumbnail game is on point, which I kinda doubt. Regardless, I'm just a blank face who likes space, and today we're diving into the science behind planetary alignment and what it will look like if all 8 planets lined up perfectly. When people talk about planetary alignment, they often picture all the planets lining up in a perfect row across the solar system. When I think of planetary alignment, I think of making my way to the North Pole to enter the spirit world during harmonic convergence to gain the godlike abilities of the Avatar. The point of that little nugget of fun is to show that the planets lining up in a neat little row is a staple of pop culture. That particular little tidbit from before is from Avatar: The Legend of Korra, and if you have yet to see it, I recommend you give it and its predecessor a watch. Trust me, it's worth every second. One of the greatest cartoons put to television. However, despite the prevalence of planetary alignments in pop culture, how the planets all align is far more complicated than it seems. There are 2 truths here when discussing planetary alignments. First, planets are technically always aligned because they exist on the same flat plane around the sun. But that's no fun and not what you're here for. Secondly, in reality, the planet's orbits with respect to the sun's equator are tilted at different angles, so a perfect alignment is nearly impossible. But that's also no fun and not what you're here for. Instead, alignment usually means that the planets appear in a rough line from our perspective here on Earth. And this is called a planetary conjunction. A planetary conjunction is when 2 or more planets appear close together from our perspective on Earth. And I don't think this needs to be said, but the planets are never actually close to each other. Contrary to what you see in your textbooks, if the planets were ever that close to each other, it would be catastrophic and would undoubtedly spell the end for humanity and the Earth. We'd probably end up swung out of orbit into the long dark of space, not unlike the long dark of Moria, for there are older and more fouler things than Saints fans in the deep places of the universe. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that the space between planets is vast. But what you're really here for is to know if and when the planets will align. So astronomers use angular degrees to measure the apparent distance between 2 celestial objects. What are angular degrees, you ask? Well, according to Google, angular degrees refer to the unit used to measure the apparent size or separation between objects in the sky, essentially describing how much space an object takes up in your field of view. Within a circle being divided into 360 degrees, this is the primary way astronomers measure the size of celestial objects as seen from Earth, with smaller divisions like arc minutes and arc seconds used for finer measurements. So for the next few minutes, you're going to hear me saying degrees a lot, and that's what I'm referring to, angular degrees. Their relative distance from each other from our perspective on Earth. Fun fact, the 3 most inner planets, so Mercury, Venus, and Earth, line up within 3.6 degrees every 39.6 years on average. So you can actually see this planetary conjunction within your lifetime. John Mies, I hope I'm not butchering his name, a Belgian meteorologist and amateur astronomer, calculated this phenomena. So next time you're watching the news and they're talking about a planetary alignment, really conjunction, you should check it out if it's a clear sky. However, that's where the fun ends and the bad news begins. Since we're talking about all of the planets, we have to include all 8 planets. And when you include all 8 planets, the next time you'll be able to see all 8, or rather 7 since you're here on Earth, in the same 180 degree swath of sky will be on May 6, 2492. According to Christopher Bard, the associate professor of physics at West Texas A&M University. Unfortunately, this means that none of us alive currently will be able to see this alignment. In fact, the last time the 8 planets were grouped within 30 degrees of each other was January 1st, 1665. However, this still doesn't answer our question, does it? Is a perfect alignment where all 8 planets form a single straight line possible? I know you're all dying to experience harmonic convergence for yourselves, so I'll tell you. And the answer is no. It's practically impossible for the planets to perfectly align due to their orbital inclinations. But can the planets get close to that straight line? Yes, they can. Well, isn't that fantastic news? That means that you can reserve your spot at the semi-harmonic convergence when it does happen. No problem. You'll just have to wait 396 billion years to experience it. And yes, you heard that right. 396 billion years. For reference, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old and the Sun is 4.6 billion years old. This also means that you'll never see it happen because the three inner planets of Mercury, Venus, and Earth will have been swallowed up by the Sun as it expands into a red giant in about 6 billion more years, which, mind you, would still leave 390 billion years left. To understand how absurdly long 390 billion years is, the universe is estimated to be about 13.8 billion years old. The entire universe. So going 390 billion years into the future means the alignment will never happen. Also, these calculations were done by John Meus. But can you theoretically get an even closer alignment than 3.6 degrees? As close as 1 degree. Assuming the Sun doesn't expand into a red giant and find some infinite source of fuel, you can see this nearly perfect alignment in 13.4 trillion years. You know, it would have been one thing if it was like 4 trillion years. That still would have been an extremely large amount of time. But 13.4 trillion years is almost like it's more than a tenth of what they expect the universe to live in general, which is 100 trillion years. That's an extremely long amount of time. The planets would have long since been gone. The Sun would have, ejected its outer layer into a planetary nebula and would have either be a white dwarf at that point, probably be like a black dwarf at that point. So it's a very long time. It's a very long time. Now, of course, you may be worried about the potential disasters that may occur from a perfect planetary conjunction. Some say they could cause natural disasters like more powerful earthquakes and stronger storms, while others think they might affect human behavior, exhibit a strong gravitational pull on the Earth, or release Vatu during harmonic convergence. Of course, none of this is true. Except Vatu. Beware of Vatu. Scientists, however, agree that planetary alignments have no physical effect on Earth. The gravitational forces from the planets, even in alignment, are too weak to make any noticeable impact. Because, as I said earlier, the planets are really far away from each other. That'll probably be a video in the future. Still, planetary conjunctions are visually stunning, especially when several planets are visible in the same part of the sky. Plus, it reminds us of the incredible scale of our solar system and the patterns in the cosmos. While we may have to wait centuries to see another planetary alignment, there are plenty of other amazing celestial events to look forward to, like meteor showers, eclipses, and even the occasional planetary conjunctions. So, if you're interested in listening to a blank face who likes space talk other amazing facts about our universe, be sure to subscribe for more cosmic content, and let us know in the comments if you'd love to see the planets align in your lifetime. Until next time, I've been a blank face who likes space, and I'll see you in the next one.